Well, Raw was all over the place tonight. There were a lot of down segments on the show, and there was a really hot ending to the show. An amazing ending to the show. But I'll talk about that in time. Now, this is Tuesday's video, and I will be going to work today, and we're going to be doing beat-ups tonight, provided the weather doesn't hate us again like it has lately. Apparently, it just wants to snow whenever, wherever it wants, and it'll never stop at this rate. I hate snow with a passion right now, to say the least. So, that being said, I'm working today. That's the reason why you're getting this video right now. It is officially 11:17 p.m. on Monday night. We're going to talk a little Monday Night Raw. So, if you haven't checked out my NXT and SmackDown recap from yesterday, and then go ahead and check it out. I actually put a lot into it. It's almost an hour long. I'm very proud of it. So, I guess you probably could blame it on my 10-minute long housekeeping section. And I'm not going to really throw out that many tidbits of housekeeping today. I will say that I got my taxes done today, so yay, that's done. Erwin R. Shyster will not be knocking at my door. So, that's all taken care of. And pretty sure everything is starting to fall into place as it pertains to a lot of things, as in I'm talking about pop things falling into place, being the brand new segments. AJ and I are discussing them, and we're trying to work on some new ones. We got some dynamite segments coming for you in the future, and I will say, on the 1-year anniversary of Versus, we are going to be doing a special Versus. Now, remember how we did Freddy versus Jason? It's something like that, actually even more monumental than that. So, needless to say, you probably can figure out that we're doing a massive, long Versus for the 1-year anniversary. Now, let's talk Raw, shall we? Randy Orton comes out, start the show off, and he basically just whines like he always does about being forced to defend the WWE World Heavyweight Championship inside the Elimination Chamber in 3 weeks. Well, Triple H and Stephanie come out, starts the first CM Punk chant of the night. Maybe we should consider putting our faith in someone else. For the next several weeks, you are going to face off against your 5 competitors in the Elimination Chamber in one-on-one matches. And tonight, you're going to start this off against Daniel Bryan. And Stephanie goes, I can't believe I'm even saying this, but if Daniel Bryan wins, maybe he might be the one that we should make the new face of the WWE. I like this. I like this a lot. Interesting way to start off the show. Sinuses, sorry. Opening matchup, The Shield, 6-man tag team action, this time against Rey Mysterio, Kofi Kingston, and Big E Langston. It's funny because I called Kofi and Big E, but I didn't call Mysterio. I should have thought of that, actually. I thought Big E Langston would be in because of the connection to him being the Intercontinental Champion and Dean Ambrose being the United States Champion. I called him. Kofi pretty much gets thrown in these matches all the time. I should have said Mysterio. I called Jimmy and Jey Uso, who were not on the show tonight. The Usos were not on the program. The Usos were not on the show tonight. Obviously, John Cena was on the show tonight. That eye injury is a little bit more hardcore than anticipated because he was kept off the show tonight, just like he was off the house show circuit over the weekend. So, it was interesting to see what happened. Obviously, no Punk tonight for obvious reasons, because Punk took his ball and went home. And that's pretty much no Brock Lesnar, obviously. So, there's a lot of bigger names off the show, and obviously not so bigger names that are still missed. Paul Heyman not being on the show was a big issue. Now, let's talk 6-man tag team action, and Roman Reigns, midway through the match, locks on a chin lock on Rey. Rey elbows his way out, comes off the ropes, and Roman runs him over with a vicious back elbow. Tagging to the United States Champion with the leaping stomp 2 times in succession. Short arm clothesline 1-2, Mysterio kicks out. Dean locks on the rear chin lock with the knee firmly planted in the lower back, and once the hold is broken, he comes off the rope, stucks the clothesline, and he catches the crossbody, ties Rey up to the Tree of Woe, charges in, and Mysterio flips himself up, and Ambrose goes shoulder first into the ring post. Tagging to Big E Langston, he exploded a huge clothesline, Big shoulder block on Roman Reigns. And he does a charging shoulder in the corner, overhead release belly-to-belly suplex, and the big splash. And we reveal right there that Roman Reigns has got a vicious cut right above his eye. Like, inadvertently, Biggie Langston, when he collided with Roman Reigns, he, like, busted the eyebrow. And obviously, blood flows rather freely when the eyebrow gets busted. It's no Harley Race tactic, but Harley Race, in order to get somebody busted open, this was in Mick Foley's book, actually, in Have a Nice Day, which I have over there. But you take the points of your knuckles, and you drag them across the eyebrow, and it's an easy way to split someone open. Now, that's exactly what happened. Not that, but the collision caused him to get busted open. Roman Reigns, of course, continued the match, and Ray set Seth Rollins to the floor. Roman with the Superman punch on Biggie Langston and tagging Ambrose, but not tag into Ambrose. Ambrose tagged himself in. Justice is served on Biggie Langston in 1, 2, 3. So, of course, we get the Wyatt interruption. Come out, wherever you are. I understand your blueprint stamped in my brain. Simply put, your pawns. You sacrifice yourself in the name of your king. I will build my empire next to the sea, and I will watch everyone drown. And I'm paraphrasing, of course, in this case. Luke Harper says, is it worth it? He has always been your king. Rowan once more says run, and that's the end. So, the next segment involves Wade Barrett. Bad News Barrett ascends from his podium high above the sky and high above the crowd, and basically he talks about the Super Bowl, and of course I hate football and have no interest in it, so I don't really know what's going on. Apparently he talks about the habits of people eating a bunch of snack foods, and they got all fat and everything, and who knows, maybe because of that they have clogged arteries, and they may or may not be around by next year, and that's your bad news. Well, Jerry the King Lawler takes offense to this and actually gets on the microphone and says, maybe next week you won't be around, pops the crowd, and I'm not sure where this is going. If Lawler could compete in a match against Wade Barrett, I would not have an issue with doing something like this. But if he's not going to do anything with it, it's kind of pointless for him to do it. If you want to shut Wade Barrett up, you have a worker do it. I'm not saying Lawler's not a worker. Obviously, we know he is. But you have an active superstar do it. And then you can feud Wade Barrett with this superstar, and then we have a storyline, which is something that Wade Barrett's badly lacking right now. Since, obviously, I'm a huge Wade Barrett fan, when it comes down to it, I just want Wade Barrett to be on television, and I'm just happy he still works for the company at this point. So, I guess this episode of Raw is like Blood Runs Red in Omaha, is pretty much, because there was a lot of inadvertent busting opens tonight. That was grammatically incorrect in so many ways. We get a rematch from SmackDown with Christian against Jack Swagger. It's the only time you see Antonio Cesaro tonight, actually. We go to the end of the match, and Swagger goes for his fall-away Dr. Bomb, gets countered into the falling inverted DDT by Christian, ducks the clothesline, and drop toe hold on Swagger, and of course he lands on the middle rope. Christian slingshots over and uppercut, and of course he goes up top, goes for the flying body press, gets caught, turned into the Patriot Lock, gets countered into the kill switch. Kill switch is reversed, back kick, Christian goes to the top, Swagger pulls him off, and goes for the Swagger Bomb this time, just like earlier on in the match. He finds nothing but both boots right in the face, courtesy of Christian. Christian hits the 180 sunset flip and gets the pinfall. So, given the fact Christian just returned, he had to win this match. Given the fact that Christian is now in the Elimination Chamber, and he needs some momentum, he had to win this match. And we're still building on the eventual split of the Real Americans, but I still don't understand WWE's point here. If you're going to make Swagger look like an idiot, you're making Swagger inadvertently the babyface here, and you don't want that. You want Swagger and Zeb to go their separate ways and Cesaro to be the one. Like I said, I brought up this analogy time and time again. It's the Colossal Connection. Obviously, this is King Haku and Bobby the Brain Heenan, Jack Swagger and Zeb Coulter. Yes, I compared them. You want to fight about it? And Andre the Giant, which is Antonio Cesaro, and that's what you do after they lost the WWF Tag Team Championships to Demolition at WrestleMania 6. This is what you do. That's how you break this up. And considering the fact we just broke up the primetime players on SmackDown, you might want to keep them together a little bit longer. Maybe after WrestleMania you blow that off. Too many teams splitting at the same time, not a good thing. Speaking of teams, because of Brock Lesnar pretty much ruining everyone's day on Raw, they decided they wanted to put the rematch inside of a steel cage. WWE Tag Team Champions, the New Age Outlaws, defending against Goldust and Cody Rhodes, the Brotherhood. The crowd hated this match. Like, straight up hated this match from the get-go. We got more CM Punk chants, and we got random chants, and just the crowd just didn't care about this match. So, it was okay for what it was. It was basically a house show main event. Oh, sorry. A house show main event before intermission. You know how normally you have the big match that runs right before the intermission and that ends the first half of the show? And then you have the main event, which of course ends the second half of the show, and that's the go-home, right? Makes sense. Well, in this case, this is a cage match that would belong in the first half main event on a 2-hour house show. That's what I look at it as, honestly. So, this was all over the place. Not the greatest of matches, but I'll give it up to Cody Rhodes for taking the bump that he took in this match. So, Road Dogg sends Goldust into the cage 2 times, makes cover 1-2 and a kick out. Chinlock with the knee in the back once again. Goldust punches his way out, and they telegraph the drop kick. Billy Gunn ends up getting tagged in, whip in, and Goldust puts on the brakes with a backstop back elbow to Billy Gunn. Billy cuts off the tag attempt when Goldust leaps in the air. He catches him, and a big boot to Goldust, 1-2 and a kick out. Tag into the Road Dogg. The snap jabs, ducks the clothesline, big spine buster off the ropes from Goldust on the Road Dogg, tagging to Billy Gunn, hot tag to Cody, clothesline, duck the clothesline, toss him into the cage, boot in the midsection, drop down uppercut, Bob Holly kick, and drop kicks the Road Dogg into the cage. Since you have about this much room between the body of the superstar and the steel cage, they're basically against the cage, so Cody sees this, drop kicks Road Dogg, which sends him back first into the steel cage, which he's pretty much into already. So he goes for the Famouser. He misses. Road Dogg gets sent into the cage. Goldust catches with a power slam. He gets sent into the cage. Beautiful disaster on Billy Gunn, 1-2, and at 3 a kick out. Cody climbs up, and Road Dogg climbs up to meet him. Dogg ends up go face first into the steel cage. Cody climbs up, and he wants to go for the moonsault off the top of the cage. And since there's no escape, it's pinfall or submission only. Basically, Cody hits the moonsault off the top of the cage, grazes the Road Dogg, and landed rather awkwardly, to be totally honest. It didn't look the greatest. It looked cool, but if you knew what was going on, it did not look like it was, it went off like it could have, or it should have. Inadvertently, of course, you forget who the legal man is, and it's Billy Gunn and Cody Rhodes. And what happens? Cody's getting up to his feet, groggy, and possibly with a seriously, not necessarily a serious injury on the arm, but definitely a tweak on the arm. And he gets planted in the canvas with the Famouser, 1-2-3, and the New Age Outlaws, just like I predicted, retain the WWE Tag Team Championships inside the steel cage. I've seen better matches between these two. The match of the Rumble I thought was better. I don't mind the cage gimmick, and I don't even mind the fact that it was pinfall or submission, but I guess the only reason that happened is so you could do the moonsault spot, but you still could have done the moonsault spot if there would have been escape only. What you could have done to save face in this match, if they didn't want either team to get pinned, you have Cody miss the moonsault, or Cody hit the moonsault, and if he hits the moonsault, the option is Billy Gunn slides out the cage door and the Outlaws retain. If he misses the moonsault, Road Dogg slides out the cage door, Outlaws retain. But they gave the Outlaws the pin win here, and I guess that's okay. You're not really devaluing Cody and Goldust. Luckily, there was no collusion here. This Cody and Goldust being split up and having the match at Mania, I still am not completely down with it, because the only way you can do this is you have to make Cody Rhodes the heel, because everybody wants to cheer Goldust, and they're going to. So you have to make Cody Rhodes into the fashion plate again, dashing one again. Hopefully he won't grow his George Harvey mustache again. But I think, right now, I think there's someone else that has that mustache, and that's Justin Roberts. So, in our next match, get a Zack Ryder sighting, which makes me very happy, because obviously I love Zack Ryder. And he's facing off against, well, I'm writing Alexander Rusev's name down, because it sounds like Rusev's music or a version of it. And here comes Titus O'Neil, to no reaction from the crowd after turning on Darren Young on SmackDown. Obviously, most of the Raw crowd probably didn't watch SmackDown, so needless to say, they probably didn't know what was going on. And where's Darren Young? What happened? So Titus tosses Ryder into the wall. The Miz comes out. The Miz comes out, says basically that he is displeased he's not on Raw. And this time, of course, you get a big scoop slam on Zack Ryder by Titus, and the Miz just bombs out. Side bear hug on Zack Ryder. When we get back to action, Ryder elbows his way out, comes off the ropes, boot in the midsection, and comes off the ropes. Big clothesline. Charging shoulder, misses, goes shoulder first into the post, charges in, and Ryder gets up the double knees. 1-2 and a kick out. Broski boot, goes to the middle rope, flying body press, gets caught. 2 stiff backbreakers, and just tosses him aside like yesterday's garbage. Charging avalanche in the corner, whip in, and clash of the Titus off the ropes on Zack Ryder. Titus wins a very flat matchup there on Raw. Remember I talked about a Titus O'Neil, if I'd like to give him like a mouthpiece, give him like a Paul Heyman to work with, and maybe, just maybe, give him like a push against someone like a Sheamus or a Roman Reigns when he goes babyface. Yeah, that's not going to work if you do stuff like this. Crowd was completely not into it. Titus does absolutely nothing in this match, and did not even really show anything. Just the double backbreakers, and just tosses him aside like the trash. That's all that he did in this match. And Zack Ryder basically just, he did what he could. I was happy to see Ryder on television, to be honest, because that does not happen very often. So, because February is Black History Month, WWE decided they wanted to throw a vignette package our way, and they did a promo on the Big Cat Ernie Ladd, which was really well done, actually. Very, very impressive. Now, Fandango comes out with the gorgeous Summer Rae, and brings out Santino Marella, who, far as I know, is not cleared to wrestle yet. So that's why they do this dance-off, which is the same thing they did on NXT a couple weeks ago. So Santino basically calls him Fandingle and Fondingle, or just... I love Santino. Fandango deserves so much better than this. So he basically calls Summer Rae, who he calls her Summer Day, and she says, okay, fine, we have a dance-off with Summer Rae against somebody from the audience. Gee, shock, surprise, look who's in the audience. Emma's standing there with her hashtag Evolution sign, and sure enough, Santino picks her. So Emma gets in the ring. Summer dances to Fandango's theme. And yes, we actually got the debut of the Emma theme song in WWE, which is awesome because that song is stuck in my head and I can't get it out. So Emma does the Emma dance for the first time. It's the crowd seeing it that doesn't know jack about NXT. And, of course, via the crowd response, Emma wins. So that's Emma's official debut, winning a dance contest against Summer Rae in a rehash of something that happened on NXT. And was there a match here with Fandango? No, just a segment, just a dance-off. I'm just happy that... Oh, God, I'm happy Emma's on television, to be honest. I'm happy Fandango's on television. I'm happy Santino's on television, and I'm really happy Summer Rae's on television. But, I mean, yeah, everyone in this segment deserves better. But if this builds up to when... I said before, Emma needed somebody to team with and mix tags against Fandango and Summer Rae. Once Santino is able to work, once he's cleared to compete again, this will work. This match worked in NXT, it will work in WWE, and I have no issues if that's the case. So we get another match the crowd hates. It's Sheamus and Curtis Axel. So yeah, this match was kind of there. Sheamus hit the high knee off the ropes, big clothesline, and Axel ends up going for a reverse neck breaker against the ropes. It gets countered to the clubbing blows, and a clothesline on the apron, toss him back in, whip in, knee to the face, basically caught him kind of in the face, like he was ducked down, so kind of face into the shoulder, because he's working the arm, obviously. So he headbutts his way out, and a knee, he's working on the arm at this point. A lot of work on a different body part tonight. It was really nice. So knee in, elbow to the neck, whip in, standing dropkick 1-2, and a kick out, and a chicken wing on Sheamus into a modified Fujiwara armbar. Sheamus punches his way out and pushes him in the corner, kick him in the shoulder, and he goes for the Finley roll, and he elbows out this Curtis Axel, comes off the ropes, gets caught off with the Finley roll again, Brogue kick 1-2-3, and after the match he gets up, and Ryback's basically in his face, but he's out on the floor, so it doesn't really matter. And I don't know if they're going to do Sheamus and Ryback on SmackDown, which I'm pretty sure they will. So yeah, that was a match. So Batista comes out, and before he can say one word, Alberto Del Rio comes out for the interruption. Just like I said on the internet, and I totally agree when it comes down to this. You hate Batista. The crowd hates Batista. How are we going to get Batista cheered? Send out Del Rio. So what happens? Del Rio comes out and basically says, we have unfinished business. Batista says, I got no issue with you, man. Don't worry about it. And Del Rio says, being famous does not make you a champion. Having cojones does. He basically says that Batista's scared of Alberto Del Rio. He says, I'm going to hurt you until you say, please don't hurt me. So Del Rio decides he wants to light a fire under Batista, and he cheap shots him, and he beats him down momentarily, and the fans are chanting C. Yes, they're chanting for Del Rio in this case, so yes, this totally worked, putting Batista against Del Rio. Try again next week, WWE. So as they're chanting C, Del Rio ends up going to get the upper hand. He gets booted in the midsection. Batista goes for the Batista bomb, and Del Rio powders, and that's the end of it. And of course, since they're not going to talk on the mic, apparently Batista's about to say something. He tosses the mic down and says, you want it, you got it. So, are we getting Batista and Alberto Del Rio like we suspected at Elimination Chamber? I think that's pretty much a certainty at this point. So, because we had the Shield earlier on, we obviously have to have the Wyatt family in six-man tag team action. So the Wyatt family are taking on Truth and Consequences and Dolph Ziggler. Okay, here's the thing. Dolph Ziggler, if you haven't seen, on the WWE app, cut a very emotional, very heartfelt promo about his career and how he feels his career has gone. And what happens? Yep, we're just going to put you in this match against the Wyatt family. So yeah. Yay, speak your mind in WWE. So, it's interesting as how I look up, I see Chiwetel staring back at me. Sorry. You can look at Facebook at weird times here. So, we go midway through the match. Harper with the gator roll into the side headlock on Truth, and he comes off the ropes. Truth catches him with a spinning back elbow, which was kind of like the lie detector, but not quite in this case, like somewhat. Tagging to Dolph Ziggler, who the crowd really wants to see, and he goes for the high cross body on Harper, and he nails it, drop kick, and charging splash into the 10 punch in the corner, reverse neck breaker, leaping elbow, and he plants Harper with the exclamation point DDT. Eric Rowan makes the save, and tosses Dolph hard into the buckle. Bray Wyatt comes in, Katie bar at the door, we have like Donnybrook basically. Bray hits a Uranagi on Xavier Woods. Harper ends up hitting the discus lariat and tagging to Bray Wyatt, Sister Abigail on Dolph, and that's the end. So the Wyatts are celebrating somewhat. Shield get on the Titantron, basically say, you're delusional, you think you can hang with the Shield, you need to realize you're in our yard now, we don't play games, believe that, believe in the Shield. What's Bray Wyatt's response? He simply laughs at them and says, I welcome this war, bring it to me. Once again, the Wyatt family proving they have the upper hand, and most definitely will win at Elimination Chamber. We'll talk about that later on. So our semi-main apparently is a match with Naomi against Oksana. Yay! Owen really loves this show. And AJ Lee comes out with Tamina, and she's going to do commentary for the match. So we go midway through the match, and ducks the clothesline, and Naomi hits the Bubba Bomb. And basically does a body scissors, roll through into a bridge up pin, 1-2, and a kick out. Whip in reverse, and she goes for a wheelbarrow, gets caught with a face buster. Basically, Oksana just tossed her down. Chokes her in the middle rope, and a snap suplex, 1 count only. Naomi kicks out. So she locks her in a modified Taz mission. Naomi punches her way out, makes a cover 1-2. No, 1, that's it. So a chin lock into a head scissors, into a scissor stomp Madison Rayne style by Oksana, and charges in, catches the boot up, 2 drop kicks, whip in, reverse, tip up, shimmy, shake, and boot in the midsection. Goes for a sunset flip, gets stopped with a botch and a half. Okay, remember I talk about people using the wrong arm and the wrong leg to do maneuvers? Well, the sunset flip is blocked, and it's stopped with a knee drop with the opposite knee by Oksana, and she drops it right here, right underneath the cheek. And I don't know if you've ever been punched in the face before, but you have to realize, A, Naomi's going to have one hell of a bruise tomorrow morning, and B, that could pretty much mess up your equilibrium a little bit. So Naomi was pretty much out of it in this match. But to her credit, she continued to finish. She had a step-up enziguri kick, nailed the split-legged moonsault with JBL putting over Rob Van Dam, and got the 3 count. So Alicia Fox came in. Yay, more things Owen likes. Cameron drop kicks her out of the ring, and she gets thrown into the rear view, and that's all she wrote. Yeah, the Funkadactyls dance, end of segment. Yeah, that was all over the place. I get Naomi, but she doesn't know jack about how to put a match together. She's okay with the high spots, she's got charisma, but she cannot, work a solid wrestling match. And I know that's not why she was hired, I get that. But still, if this is going to be the person that could potentially dethrone AJ, you have to make her believable. And the fact she doesn't know anything about psychology does not help her one iota right now. So, this is interesting. 30 minutes before the top of the hour, we get our announcement for the main event, and we send out Daniel Bryan. So our main event, the MVP of the WWE, and now the world's saying it with me, Daniel Bryan taking on your WWE World Heavyweight Champion, Randy Orton, in a non-title match. This match was awesome. Awesome with a capital A. Now first off, this match was all about targeting body parts. Basically, at the beginning of this match, it was a one-sided squash. Daniel Bryan working the leg like there's no tomorrow. Bryan made a quick mistake. Orton capitalized with a backdrop suplex to the barricade like he does so well, and that's when he took over. But let's talk about the final commercial break, and my God, let's talk about it. So Bryan with the S-kicks, goes for the buzzsaw, gets caught, exploder suplex, dropped Bryan right on his shoulder. So basically, this is now Orton to work over the arm. That's what started right there. So he basically takes his head and just kind of like headbutts him to the floor. Rams him shoulder first in the ring post on 2 separate times. Sends him shoulder first into the ring steps. Tosses him in at the 9 count. Makes a cover 1-2 and a kick out. He locks on a modified Fujiwara armbar. And he bends back the fingers. Basically trying to separate the fingers of Daniel Bryan. He stomps on the shoulder. Makes a cover 1 count only. He drops all of his weight on the arm of Bryan, then ties his arm up in the ropes for good measure, grabs his arm, yanks it over the top rope, puts him on the top turnbuckle. Of course, he's going for the Orton Crest superplex. Bryan blocks it. 2 headbutts, Bryan punching away, and he headbutts Orton off. He goes for the missile drop kick. He connects, but of course, he landed on his elbow and his injured shoulder. So needless to say, he cannot capitalize. This match has got psychology out the yin-yang, complete flip from the semi-main. So Orton with a headbutt, and Bryan kicked to the knee, and then kicks to the hamstring. And what does Orton do? He grabs the arm with the arm wringer and just slams him down on the canvas. So he goes for the yes lock. He's got it on. Orton uses his ginormous reach, and of course he puts his foot on the bottom rope, which calls for the break. So Bryan hits the charging dropkick in the corner. Doesn't care. He does it again. He hits it again. Doesn't care. And he goes for a third one. Gets stopped with a dropkick from Randy Orton. And he grabs him, tosses him to the ring apron, setting up for the snakebite DDT. He plants Bryan with it. Orton starts pounding the mat like an idiot, and once he gets up to his feet, Bryan just lays him out with a super kick, goes up top, swan dive headbutt, 1, 2, and no, right at 3, Orton kicks out. This time goes for the S-kicks again, connects with a buzzsaw, and here comes Corporate Kane to ringside. Gets on the ring apron, Bryan drop kicks him off, Orton charges, Bryan sees where he's coming, low bridges him, Orton goes over the top rope to the floor, Bryan charges in, nails the tope on Orton and Kane, tosses Orton back in the ring. Kane goes to interfere. He gets sent into the steel steps. Orton's back in the ring, eyeing Daniel Bryan. He goes for the RKO, gets shoved off. Orton goes for a clothesline. Bryan ducks, nails the fire-breathing knee. 1, 2, 3, and Daniel Bryan wins clean in the center of the ring. So they play a little chicken here, and Orton basically attacks. Kane comes in. There's a 2-on-1 on Bryan. Kane choke slams his former Hell No tag team partner. And Orton and Kane stand tall over Daniel Bryan to end the show. Okay. I like this. I don't like Randy Orton. I never have. But dude knows how to put a match together. Orton and Bryan have tremendous chemistry. And if I could watch them work every single night, I would never have an iota of a problem with it. Because they really gel well together in the ring. Their matches are really good. And Orton is such a smarmy heel. And Bryan is such a monumental babyface. This match works in every way possible. I love this storyline. And I love the fact that they're in the ring. And I love the fact they gave them so much time. They gave them 20 minutes on a Raw broadcast. So yeah, I hope that the ratings show that, because I know WWE looks at that, and that's the reason why Bryan was blamed for the low ratings when he was world champion. Anyway, yeah, I do the quote marks in the air on that one. So yeah, this show is all over the place. 3 weeks to Elimination Chamber. We still don't have a card yet, but obviously we still have the 3 weeks to formulate an actual card. Obviously, we're going to get the Shield and the Wyatt family. We're going to get the 6-man in the Elimination Chamber, with Orton defending the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. It looks to me like we're getting Naomi and AJ. It also looks to me we're getting Batista and Alberto Del Rio. And I think there's probably a good bet we're going to get, I would say at this point, it would be the Outlaws and the Brotherhood one last match, and that's probably where Cody and Goldust split, and that'll lead so they can build their match at WrestleMania. But I don't know at this point. With this primetime players splitting up, I don't know if you really want to split up another team already. And eventually, I say that Emma debuts, but I don't think she'll debut before, I think she may be in some sort of a backstage promo at WrestleMania, but I don't think she's actually going to wrestle in the event. I don't think she'll debut in ring until the night after WrestleMania. That's what I'm thinking right now, honestly. But yeah, show was all over the place. Yeah, it was interesting. Interesting, and the crowd wanted to chant for Punk, and they did numerous times, even when Daniel Bryan was out there. But still, I will hand it to everyone. They, I don't know, the crowd just, they were kind of wishy-washy, you know, it was really weird. So yeah, it was an okay show for what it was. I mean, it could have been a lot better. Could have been a heck of a lot worse, though. Really hot main event. Really hot finish for the main event. I love that match completely. And if you want to check out anything from this Raw, if you watch anything, you go back and watch it on like a DVR. Watch The Shield against Rey, Kofi, and Big E Langston. See if you can pinpoint the collision which busted Roman Reigns open. If you want to watch Christian and Swagger, watch it on SmackDown from last week. If you want to watch the Outlaws and the Brotherhood, I know it's a cage match here, but the match was better at the Rumble. Titus and Zack Ryder you can skip. Curtis Axel and Sheamus you can skip. As much as I hate... You know, actually, the Wyatts against Truth and Consequences and Dolph Ziggler wasn't bad. I did like Dolph, of course, bumping like a pinball like he does so well. Skip the Naomi match. Daniel Bryan and Randy Orton, go see that immediately. That match was phenomenal. So yeah, that was Raw. Wrestling fans, I'll join you yet again for Impact later this week, as well as NXT and SmackDown for later this week. And obviously we're on the road to TNA Lockdown and on the road to the WWE Elimination Chamber. And in the meantime, if you like these videos, tell your friends about them, leave a comment, do subscribe, and help spread the word about Pop. If you want to like our Facebook fan page, you're more than welcome to. It's Sir Owen Disney Pop. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it's at Sir Owen Disney. And if you'd like to friend me on Facebook, it's Owen Disney. Last but certainly not least, if you want to send your thoughts, comments, queries, and opinions to myself, to any of the other Popcasters about things you'd like to see on Pop, you can do that. Simply send me an email, sirowendisney@gmail.com. In the meantime, thank you guys and girls up there for watching, and until tomorrow, boys and girls, that's all I gotta say about that.